All right. So I've got, we're done with that? We got one more?
Yeah.
Okay.
You ready?
So, so it has become kind of, every time somebody talks about, how difficult it is to be in the closet or make some comment about an anti-gay politician or something like that, it's become kind of fashionable for, it's almost always a cishet, dude who pops in to proclaim that this virulently anti-gay politician or celebrity or whatever is secretly gay himself. And that, we're just waiting for the other shoe to drop, waiting for the scandal where he gets caught in the bathroom with another man.
Doth protest too much sort of stuff.
Yeah, and it's almost like, hey, Jesus is coming soon. It's like, okay, how long do we have to wait for this other shoe to drop here, But there's a bigger issue with this, and I've started coming at people pretty hard on this because this kind of talk is on par with, someone having a discussion of crime rates and people saying, oh, but what about black-on-black crime? And you never hear black people talking about black-on-black crime. It's always some very concerned white allies, and I use that in quotes there, who are so concerned about black-on-black crime, and everybody else rolls their eyes. This is something similar to that because these are not people who are involved in the gay community. They're not gay. They don't know shit about this. But they assure us, me in particular, that they have many gay friends who've validated this claim.
Oh, God.
And that it's, and then they point to scandals like, Larry Craig getting caught in a men's room with his toe tapping and, what was it?
Ted Haggard.
Ted Haggard.
Who is completely heterosexual.
Yeah, George Reekers, who was, he had a rent boy lifting his luggage for him on a trip and all this. And it's like, okay, there's no question that there are, closet cases among, the virulently anti-gay people.
Right.
There's lots of people in the closet, okay? Being gay is not a choice. Being in the closet is a choice, and sometimes it's the most rational choice you can make depending on your circumstances. Being anti-gay is also a choice, and that's a choice people make whether they're gay or straight.
Yeah.
And if you're a gay person in the closet and you choose to act on this, based on this anti-gay message, that's a choice that I will rightfully condemn because you are harming people who've done you no harm at all. You're harming your own people. But the reality is most people in the closet never harm another gay person. They're in the closet for their own reasons. Whether those are reasonable or not is not for me to say. And I'm very opposed to outing people who have made a rational choice to stay in the closet unless they're actively harming gay people. And then I'm in favor of outing them, not because they're gay, but because of the hypocrisy. So I make a distinction between being a hypocrite and, just being in the closet because you're afraid.
Right.
But I wanted to, there's a woman who, Lindsay King Miller, who wrote an article for Roll Reboot, and I want to read a section of what she wrote here because I think it's really kind of informative here. It says, but more importantly, when we call homophobic politicians closet cases, we shift the blame for the marginalization of LGBTQ people. We shift the blame that LGBTQ people still face onto ourselves. The claim that self-hating gay people are keeping the community down is on a level with the idea that if women were just more confident at work, the wage gap would disappear overnight. Internalized homophobia is a symptom of an oppressive culture, not the cause of oppression. If every closeted LGBTQ person in the world came out tomorrow, guess what? Homophobia would still exist. The closet case rhetoric turns any discussion of LGBTQ rights into a game of why are you hitting yourself? And so this is one of the reasons I object to this so much. It's basically blaming closeted gay people for our own oppression. And I mean, I've been out of the closet forever. But I can remember a time, especially when I was in the military, when You had to be in the closet.
Yeah.
It was the only way you could continue to serve. And I mean, so I was closeted by necessity, and I would never have done anything to harm another gay person. You know?
Anytime a person lies or hides, my first question is, were they able to be open and tell the truth? Right? So if somebody lies or hides something from me, the first thing I should be thinking is, did I make a welcoming environment for them to come to me and be honest and open about what it is they wanted to tell me? Or did I make them believe, did I do anything to make them believe that I would react more hostily or negatively up to this, to the point that they felt like they couldn't talk to me about it? Right? Because we see that with the sexuality thing again in parents, right? So the kids having sex, and they're just like, you know, so what's going on? Is something going on? No, nothing's going on. And then they catch the kid with their partner in the bedroom, whatever, and then they're just like, oh, well, I can't believe you lied to me.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, when you came up and like started threateningly asking me if I was having sex, I kind of thought saying, yeah, it was not a good idea. Right?
Yeah.
And this is kind of what you're describing. You're basically saying that whether the person understands at a conscious level that there's, you know, that they actually are hiding, or whether they are suppressing it because somebody has taught them that, oh, these gay feelings you're having, they're just a temptation, but you're really straight and it's fine. It's just, you know, you have to fight this this evil stuff. Yeah, and so they could be literally walking around thinking I'm a straight person that struggles with these same-sex things like a lot of people do, and
they assume everybody
that's
does.
What to them that's what gay is, right?
Yeah.
And so, that's what straight is. And people identify and label in a lot of interesting ways, and we can get into that another day, but it's like a lot of people that use the straight label will acknowledge same-sex attraction. It's just not predominant for them. So they're just like, basically, I'm straight. And so what people label themselves as is one thing, but what you're talking about is somebody that's either hiding on purpose because they feel like it's unsafe to not hide, or somebody who is suppressing and unaware because they've been made to believe that this was not okay and it's not safe to admit what's really going on. And yeah, I think blaming, like you said, blaming the person for, or bringing the idea that they are gay into it is sort of secondary to the fact that somebody's doing harm. Right. So the person who is anti-gay, like openly anti-gay to the point that they would be pushing for legislation, wanting to deny rights, you know, or even just slandering and, you know, slurring, those people are damaging whether they're gay or not. Right.
And the overwhelming majority of them are not gay.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
They have no idea that, you know, for them it's, they have never asked themselves, at what point did I choose to be straight? You know, because they never did, and they just don't understand how anyone could be this way. Yeah. You know? And so to basically take this tiny subset of people who are very anti-gay and gay and closeted and act like this is like a huge segment of the anti-gay people out there, that's just ridiculous. It is absolutely absurd. It is just a minuscule number of people, in spite of the fact that you get a lot of press from it. And there's also some studies that were done that kind of, for a while at least, bolstered the idea that people who had the most homophobic attitudes were more likely to have same-sex attractions. And so most of these studies involved college-aged men, because we all know that college-aged men are entirely representative of everyone else in the population, right?
Oh, my God.
And they showed them different images of, you know, sexuality and, like, mundane things, and they measured basically whether they got an erection or not from this.
Oh, Lordy. Well,
the problem with that is what they're measuring is not actually necessarily sexual attraction. They're measuring arousal. And that's a very different thing, because if they're very anti-gay and they see an image of two men having sex, that will create this arousal response, which may include blood flowing into their penis. It doesn't mean they're sexually attracted. It's just some stuff that ask any dude who's been in combat. You know, there's a large percentage.
You're looking at me like I should know this.
So
I have no idea about the penises of men in combat and how they react.
There's a not insignificant number of men who will get an erection. It doesn't mean that they're like, ready to have sex. It's an arousal thing. It happens, and it's the same thing that happens to a lot of sexual assault victims. It is well documented in the literature that people who experience sexual assault sometimes have an orgasm in the course of the assault. It does not mean they weren't raped. It means their body responded.
Yep.
Yeah.
As a kind of an automatic thing. And so you can't take these studies that purport to show that anti-gay people or homophobic people harbor same-sex attractions and take that as at face value. Because there are some deep flaws in that, and they don't really account for some of these other responses.
Right.
But anyway, that's my little rant, because on Beth Presswood's wall, another cishet dude showed up to lecture me on why.
Super.
So this would be like in line with that comment about special place in hell for women who don't support other women.
Yeah.
Right? Because women who don't support other women generally are also victims of a culture that has taught them that women shouldn't have equality, women shouldn't have, bodily autonomy that, I mean, they're responding to that same social pressure.
Right. And in terms of, closeted, LGBTQ people who are actively harming other LGBTQ people, no sympathy. My sympathy for them ends when they start doing actual harm to other people.
All right. Well, we are over time by a fair amount.
Yeah.
It's been wonderful. So,
yes, huge thanks to our production crew who's hanging in there. They haven't even been pestering us to wrap it up.
Yeah, guys, thanks so much.
And Vern brought donuts. So.
That's,
So
very nice.
Thanks, Vern.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. All righty. So, with that, I'm going to leave you with this thought. We don't need a savior. We have each other. It's all we've ever had and all we'll ever need.
Amen.
All right. Thank you.